بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome back, my dear students, in today's English lesson. What are we going to do in this lesson? This lesson, we have the project. We are still in Unit 3. Today's lesson is about the project. Let's take a look. Now, do you remember in the previous homework, what were you asked to do? This is what you were asked to do. Write about jobs of 2 people in your family. Answer the questions. What do they do? Where do they work? And when do they work? Let's take a look at one of the examples here. So, this is the title, My Family's Job. Do you remember we talked about titles and subtitles? In this text, we only have a title, My Family's Jobs. Let's take a look. My father is a doctor and my mother is a teacher. My father works in the hospital and my mother works in a school. My mother works only in the morning, but my father works in the morning and the evening because he must treat people in the emergency room. So, I want you to do the same. Try to answer this question about jobs of 2 people in your family. Now, let's take a look. Where are we here in this unit? So, we are done with all of these things and it's time for the project. We are going to use what we learned in writing, grammar, conversation, and everything we learned in this unit in today's project. Let's take a look. What are the objectives of today's lesson? By the end of this lesson, you will be able to form interview questions and ask 3 people about their jobs. And you are going to write a report about what you found in each one of these jobs. Let's take a look. So this is the project. Let's take a look. Interview 3 people in different occupations outside and have them explain what they do and say what they like and what they don't like about their jobs. And you are going to write text about it. So let's take a look here. What is the meaning of occupation? The meaning of occupation is a job. What is your occupation? I am a teacher. What is your occupation? I am a doctor. So this is the meaning of the word occupation. Now, how many occupations do we need here? We want 3 occupations. 3. Let's take a look. So you're asked to interview 3 people with different occupations, but you are going to ask them these questions. You will ask them, what is your name? What do you do? What do you like about your job? And what don't you like about your job? So these are the interview questions. So for example, you will ask someone, what's your name? If you're going to ask me, I will say, my name is Maram. What do you do? I am a teacher. I teach English. In schools. What do you like about your job? I like learning new things and teaching them to students. This is one of the things I like about my job. What don't you like about your job? I can't think of something now, but what could be something? Sometimes it could be stressful. Sometimes we have lots of lessons. That could be a bad thing about this job, but I like being a teacher. Let's take a look. We are going to use these questions to interview 3 people who have 3 different jobs. So, I arranged this chart for you. Let's take a look at this picture. So, look at the picture and tell me, what do you see here? What are the tools? Who are these people? So, what do you think this person is doing? What is his job? So, we are arranging these things here in this chart. We want to know his name. What's your name? My name is Sami. His name is Sami. What is his occupation? He's an engineer. That's his job. What do they do? What do engineers do? So Sami builds schools and hospitals. This is the thing he's doing in his job. Now, how about a good thing in his job? He thinks his job is exciting and fun. Exciting and fun. It's two similar things. What is a bad thing about his job? Sometimes it's stressful. So these are the information we gathered from Sami, the engineer. So what are we going to do here? We have this information. We are going to write a report or a text, a paragraph about Sami. And remember, we want to use the words and, but, and because, if possible, in our text. Let's take a look at the next job. The first job here we have, it's an engineer. How about the second job? What do you see here in this picture? Who is this person? What do you think the occupation of this person? So we ask this person the same questions. What's their name? What's their job? What do they do? The things they like and the things they don't like about their job. From the picture, we can see a nurse. So what's her name? Her name is Judy. Judy's occupation is a nurse. But what does a nurse do? She takes care of people in a hospital. So what is a good thing about being a nurse? She thinks it's an interesting job. What about the bad thing in her job? She doesn't have a lot of free time. See? Not a lot of free time. That means she must work all the time or most of the time. Now we have this information. We are going to write a report about Judy, the nurse, and we are going to use what we learned before, the grammar, the writing skills that we learned here in this lesson, in this unit, unit 3. Let's take a look at the next one here. This is a what? Look at the picture. Tell me, what do you see in the picture? What are the tools that you can see here? So, where is this person sitting here? So it's not a hospital. It's not outside. Looks like it's a job that is indoor. And look, what is she doing here? She's drawing or she's designing something. So this is Noor. We asked her name. Her name is Noor. What is Noor's occupation? She's a graphic designer. She's a graphic designer. As you can see here, she's designing things in her tablet. So what do graphic designers do? We asked her, what do you do? She designs advertisements. Designs advertisements. Now, what is a good thing about her job? A good thing is that she can meet new clients and she gets to be creative. Because she's a graphic designer, she gets to be creative, come up with ideas, give the clients some ideas. But what about the bad things in her job? The bad things here, she said, the deadlines. And she wrote here, a lot of projects at the same time. Now, these are the information we have here about Noor, the graphic designers, the graphic designer. Now, we have 3 occupations. The first one is the engineer Sami. The second one is the nurse Judy. And the third one here, Noor, the graphic designer. What are we going to do here next? So we are gathering this information we took from the interview when we asked them the questions, and we are going to write a report or a text. Now, let's take the information we gathered from the engineer Sami to write this text. We wrote it here. Now we want to listen to it and tell me, what are the things that you liked here in the text? The information we gathered here. And do you remember any of the lessons we took before? Did we apply it here in the text? Let's take a look. Listen and look at the text.
Sami is an engineer. He builds schools and hospitals. He thinks his job is exciting and fun, but it's stressful because sometimes projects can be difficult.
Okay, so the engineer Sami. Sami is an engineer. This is his job, his occupation. What does he do? This is what Sami does. He builds schools and hospitals. Builds. We added S to the word build here. He builds school and hospitals. Now, do you remember when we talked about the present simple? We must add S to he and she. Look, he builds schools and hospitals. So we use the word and. That means schools and hospitals are similar words. Both of them are kind of buildings. Schools and hospitals. He thinks his job is exciting and fun. This is a good thing about Sami's job. Exciting and fun. We combine the word exciting and fun with the word and. But it is stressful. So exciting and fun. This is a good thing. What is a contrasting word to this? It is stressful. Contrasting this word, exciting and fun, and stressful. That's why we use the word but. But why? Because sometimes projects can be difficult. Why is it stressful? What is the reason? The reason is this. Sometimes projects can be difficult. See? We used what we learned in this unit to write this text. How about the next job? Do you remember the next job? It's about the nurse Judy. Let's take a look at the information we gathered from the nurse Judy to write this text. So this is the information we gathered from the occupation of the nurse, Nurse Judy. So listen and pay attention to the things we took in this unit. Did we apply it in this text or didn't we? Let's take a look.
Judy is a nurse. She takes care of people in the hospital. She thinks her job is interesting because she meets new people every day and listens to their stories. However, her job is very tiring because she doesn't have a lot of free time.
Okay, so let's take a look here. Judy is a nurse. This is her occupation. Now, what does she do? She takes care of people in the hospital. She takes. See? We added S to the word take, to the verb take, because it's a present simple. She takes care of people in the hospital. Now, what about the good thing and the bad thing in her job? She thinks her job is interesting. Why? Because she meets new people every day. So she thinks her job is interesting. She's describing her job as interesting. The reason for that is this. She meets new people every day and, see, we use the word and too, and listens to their stories. Look at the word meets and listens. Can you see the tense here? Both of them are verbs and we added S to the verb. But how about if we're talking about more than one person? How about nurses? So can we say nurses meets? No. Nurses meet. Nurses listen. We are not going to add S to it. We have S here because Judy is a one person and she's a girl. However, her job is very tiring. What is the reason for that? Because she doesn't have a lot of free time. So the bad thing about her job here is it being tiring. And this is the reason. See, she doesn't have a lot of free time. So what did we use here? Look, we used here the good thing about her job and the bad thing in her job, and she gave us reasons. She thinks it's a good thing because she thinks it's interesting because she meets new people every day. And the bad thing about her job is this. very tiring. And the reason for that is because she doesn't have a lot of free time. This is what we wrote here about the nurse Judy. What about the third occupation? Do you remember it? It's the occupation of Noor. What does Noor do? Let's take a look. Let's see. Did we use what we learned in this unit in this text? Listen.
Noor is a graphic designer. She designs advertisements for clients. She likes her job because she listens to clients' requests and gets to create what they want. However, it is a very stressful job because she has a lot of deadlines and she must take on a lot of projects at the same time.
So what is the occupation of Noor? A graphic designer. So what does graphic designer do? She designs advertisements for clients. This is what she's doing in her job, designing advertisement for clients. Now, what is a good thing about her job? She likes her job because she listens to clients' requests and get to create what they want. This is the reason. She likes. See, we have the word here, like, and we added the word we added the letter S to it because we're talking about Noor, only one girl. She likes her job, and the reason for that, we used the word because to give a reason. Because she listens to clients' requests, so this is the first thing, and she gets to create what they want. These are two reasons why she likes her job. She's listening to the request and being creative in her job. However, now let's take a look at the bad thing in her job. We saw the good thing. How about the bad thing in her job? However, it is a very stressful job. What is the reason for that? Because she has a lot of deadlines. This is a reason. She has a lot of deadlines and she must take on a lot of projects at the same time. Two reasons for describing her job as stressful. Two reasons for thinking that her job, these two things are bad in her job. She thinks these are two things that are bad in her job. So it is stressful because of two things, the deadlines and a lot of projects at the same time. Let's take a look. Here we added S to the verbs because we're talking about only one girl. Now, how about the words we took before in the writing lesson? Because, and, but. Did we use them? We used because and we used and for similar ideas or similar words, and because to give a reason. Let's take a look. Now, what are you going to do here? Look at the picture and answer the question. This is an example. We are going to do the same thing with a few more pictures. So what do you see here in this picture? What do you think is the occupation of this person in the picture? What are the tools? Is it engineer tools, doctor's tools? What do you think? Let's answer this question. What does he do? And the next question, where does he work? So let's take a look. The first question, what does he do? Look at the picture. He's a marketing manager. Marketing manager. This is the occupation. This is the job. Marketing manager. Now, let's take a look at the next question. Where does he work? So, where? We're asking about a place. Is it a hospital? Is it a company? A firm? Let's take a look. He works in an advertising firm. Advertising firm. So, the meaning of advertising firm is just like advertising company. So, we answered this question. What does he do? What is he doing in his job? And where does he work? Now, we will do the same thing with these next pictures. Look at the first picture here. And we want to answer this question. What does he do? And where does he work? What and where? Look at the picture. What are some of the things you see? Where is this person? What are the tools that he's using? Can you see this? So what do we call a doctor who takes care of, who treats people's teeth? He is a dentist. A dentist is a what? A doctor who treats people's teeth. So what about the next question? Where does he work? He works at a dental clinic. Can we say it's a hospital? Could be a clinic in a hospital, but he works at a dental clinic. Look at the verb here, works. He works. Do you see the tense of this verb? He works at a dental clinic. Now, let's take a look at the next picture. Do you remember this occupation? We talked about it at the beginning of this unit. So what does he do? Look at the tools and the things around this person. I can see a ticket, I can see a map, I can see some things around this person that can tell us what is he doing. What does he do? He's a travel agent. A travel agent. What do? They organize trips, plan trips. This is what travel agents do. Now, where does he work? He works at a travel agency. What do we call the place where you get to plan your trip? A travel agency. Now, let's take a look at the next pictures. Look at picture number 3. Do you remember this picture? What is the job of this picture? What's the occupation? What does he do and where does he work? He is a graphic designer. A graphic designer. But where does he work? Look, he works, we have S with the verb here. He works at an advertisement firm. Advertisement firm. This is where a graphic designer can work. Let's take a look at the last picture here. What do you see in the picture? What are the tools? Where is this person? Let's take a look. What is the question? What does he do? And who does he work for? He is an engineer. Can you see the helmet on his head? He is an engineer. He works for a construction company. A construction company. So the graphic designer is working for advertisement firm. But how about the engineers? Construction company. Now, what did we do in today's lesson? The project. Let's take a look. We formed interview questions and we asked people about their jobs. So what were the jobs that we talked about? Do you remember? We talked about 3 jobs: engineer, and the nurse Judy, and the graphic designer. And we wrote a report about what we found in these 3 jobs. Now, what are you going to do next? It's the homework. Let's take a look. Look at the picture, then answer the question in a paragraph. Before, we answered in a short. We answered it shortly in only one line, on one sentence. Here, I want you to do the same, but in a paragraph, just like Sami, Judy, and Noor. So, what does he do? Look at the picture. Look at the person with the red shirt. What does he do? Look at the tools around him. Can you think about this? So, and where does he work? I want you to do the same here. Look at the place, look at the tools, look at what is he doing here in the picture. I want you to do the same, okay? And answer this question in your paragraph. What does he do and where does he work? And that's it for today's lesson, and I will see you in the next lesson. We are still in Unit 3. Let's take a look. What are we going to do in the next lesson? I will see you in the next lesson.